people waiting.
Oh,
Hello,
great.
everyone. Look, Todd is back. Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm just great. Thanks for asking. How you doing, Roxanne?
I'm okay. So the last time we talked, we were all about When Calls the Heart. And tonight we're going to be all about Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. I have pink on.
So good.
I got my pink on.
Love it. Love it. Great. I have my black on.
That's okay. That's
No pink.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to start off with like, how did you even learn about the project?
You know, you as an actor for hire, which I
Mm-hmm.
am,
Yes.
and a lot of you know, Toronto, Vancouver are the two sort of big centers in Canada, and obviously LA and
Right.
New York and Atlanta. So you just get sent auditions. You get
Okay.
sent a lot of auditions, and this was an audition that I looked at, and I knew some people who had auditioned before, and I knew that it was a musical, and I thought, well, I was about to email my agent to say I'm not the guy for this particular role, and then I was like, no singing and dancing required. Okay, let me throw my hat in the ring, and I did. So, and I'm glad I did.
So there's no singing and dancing on your part, not even just a tiny little piece.
There is not, but
Okay.
if they were to ask me to sing and or dance, I think they would quickly realize the grave error that they made, and they would have to rewrite the scene, which
Okay.
would have cost them a whole lot of time and heartache. So yeah,
This
no singing and dancing required for Dick Aldridge. Yeah.
all right, I'm okay with that. And so this is an Annabelle Oakes project. Did you actually get to meet and interact with Annabelle?
Oh my gosh, I did.
Oh,
And
cool.
Annabelle is, um, well, she gave me this incredible opportunity. She obviously would have seen my first tape, and was there I did a Zoom callback,
Hmm.
and was there, and she directed, I believe, 3 of the episodes that I shot.
Oh, cool.
And as the creator showrunner, she has 1,000 different things
Sure,
ticking,
sure.
and to work, she was calm, cool, collected, pro, every time we interacted, and she gave me this incredible opportunity, which I'm really grateful for.
So she was very hands-on, which is so good.
Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
interesting. She's like to me a genius, I think, after the
She
research I did and what I listened and learned about her. Yeah.
she's got to be.
Yeah.
She's got to be. I mean, this was not a small.
No.
Like, how does one sleep at night? I don't know. Like, I wasn't
I
sleeping at night, and like I had like 2 days on set, and like she's got like, I don't know. It's a huge project to do, to do a TV show, and then to do a TV show that is a musical.
yes.
So she was very hands-on in casting, and if from my perspective,
Right, right.
and I'm sure in every facet of the production, which I think puts her in the genius category for sure.
Good. I agree. I agree. Now tell me about your character that she created. Tell us
Well,
about it's Dick Aldridge. Am I saying it right?
you're
Okay.
saying it right, Dick Aldridge.
All right. Tell us what you tease because you
Well,
can't go away.
how much can I say? I'll say, you know, like, the movie Grease. It takes place
Mhm.
in a high school. We all, if we go back to, I think,
Yes.
78 with Olivia Newton-John and
Yes.
John
Yes. Yes.
Travolta, and there's a whole host of characters that attend this high school. Greece is the same. There, it really focuses around this core group of kids at the school, and I play the father of one of those kids, and the actor's name is Jason Schmidt, and he plays Buddy Aldridge, my son, in the show.
Okay. And I think I reached out to talk with Jason, right? That's his name, correct? Yeah.
Jason, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
great
you're
guy.
the dad.
I play Jason's dad in I believe it's 1954, possibly 55, and all the trappings that occurred in North America in those years. And I would say that Dick is a man of his time.
Oh, okay. So now I'm curious to know, like, do we know what your occupation is, or are you not going to?
I have gleaned that I'm a real estate developer.
Oh, okay, okay. And so does your character do you have some money, or are you like working class in the town?
I would say not gobs of money, but I would say like upper middle class.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but certainly aspiring to have gobs
Okay.
of money.
And the reason why I'm asking that is in I'm very familiar with Greece, we all are, but in
Yes,
that
yeah.
time frame, in that mindset, especially when you're in a town, a small town, you got away with more if you have a parent who is somebody that's, active in the community or has some money. So that's why I'm trying to think, okay, where is this going? Oh,
Roxanne, your spidey senses are tingling. When you play like, you've got to find something. It's like hot, cold, hotter, hotter. Like
yeah.
you're like working towards like hot, hotter. I think that's particularly, coming from the socio-economic background that I represent. There was more advantages allowed, straight white males than most anybody else. And some people want to keep it that way. And certainly I think Dick Aldridge in 1955 wanted to keep it that way.
So they do delve into some, like the Grease that we're used to wouldn't be taking on such big, for their time, they did take on some big issues, but will we be seeing a little bit like something a little different? Like, are they going to talk about, because like for instance, we saw a preview and the girls are mad, like especially the one, she wants to become a T-bird and they're like no, and she's like tired of being treated differently, and I kind of think that's why the girls kind of formed together, because we're getting what they're releasing to us. So are we actually going to get to see them address those kinds of issues?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good. No, that's good, because then
it's incredible.
Yes,
great. It's so great.
I love that. I love that it's different. I think it was Annabelle. Was it Annabelle that I heard talking? I'm in my research. Someone was saying that pretty sure it was Annabelle, that to put this story together, she was like, Grease was already done. I love Grease. And then she thought, okay, you know what? Why did the girls get together? That must be a story. And then that's where she was trying to go from there. So
yeah, and what a great place to leap from, I think, because it's sort of like this is a prequel, but it could be a sequel as well, and sort of where does I'm trying to think of there's other there's just interesting ways that stories where they end, they can actually have an incredible rich leaping point, particularly if you sort of transplant how far we've come in so many ways in 2022, 2023, and we still need to go. But putting today's sensibility in that time period really sheds light in a profound way at how things have needed to change for. That's my understanding. That's my interpretation.
I think a lot of us are going to come up with that same thought because of all the things that they've been sharing and promoting. That's where I'm getting excited. I'm like, there's a twist in this. This is a little different, which makes me excited. Yeah. There was a show, and it's a very famous show, Mad Men. But did you ever see? Okay.
Oh my gosh, Don Draper.
Oh my gosh. So anyway,
the best.
I remember when it first came out. I watched the first episode and said, I can't do it. It makes me so angry, right?
I know.
But then I had to go back and I tried it and I was so hooked and I would get so angry. But it was like, I feel like this Grease sort of has a little bit of that vibe to it where you're outraged by the things that happen. You just couldn't believe it, but you know that it really did. So
I think that's a really, really great analogy. And there was one episode of Mad Men that I remember specifically, and I'm sure it's been commented on many times, but
mhm.
Don Draper and company, January Jones, are having a picnic, and they finish something and they kind of toss it, and they finish something and they leave the picnic, and as the camera pulls back, all their garbage
Yes.
is left in the park. It's just like styrofoam and
Yes.
plastic and
Yes.
tins and beer can just left. And they were
And
like, well, we didn't, but maybe at the time that was like a reasonable thing to do. But when you pull back on that, you just go, oh, like it's just such a great comment on how far we've come and perhaps how far we need to go. And I think that's a really great analogy with Mad Men and Grease. Yeah.
So I'm interested in like your costuming. So did you have to have your
Yeah.
hair a certain way? Did you have to shave? I mean, was there any requirements like that?
Yeah, I was always very clean shaven. In fact, I would show up often. The days, would be long, and I have one of
Sure.
these, like, by
Yeah.
the 5 o'clock shadow is a real thing. So I would literally show up a little bit early and
Hmm.
shave like first thing, so that when I went into the hair and makeup trailer, it was like already, clean shaven, which I got, a gold star for. They were always very happy that I came in, clean shaven. My hair was, sort of kind of like this, maybe a little bit longer, and certainly, kind of, just matted down a bit more.
Hmm.
The costumes were just wonderful. I got to try on some really, like the high waist, that kind of
Yeah.
oversized jacket, the
Yeah.
short ties, the, the color palettes, greens and blues. And I had this one duck tie, and it was like, hunter sitting in a boat,
Yeah.
shooting at ducks, this little tie that went like halfway down my chest. Like, I have to wear this tie. Like, I think I just have to wear this tie. So it's always fun to have any sort of, any kind of costume, but particularly if it's, a period piece, you really get a sense of. And they always kept saying, if you pull your pants up and it doesn't feel awkward and uncomfortable, pull them up more, so that when you walk around, you feel slightly self-conscious about how high your pants are,
Yes.
like
Yes.
up by your rib cage. That
I know.
was the gig.
That was funny. My father always talks about high-waisted pants, and he was from the city, and then he moved to Florida later in life, but they were still in high school, and the kids made fun because he had the high-waisted pants on, because they really didn't do that down there. So I know what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying. And yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Oh, I love that. I
yeah,
love
always fun, always fun. And when you go for a, a costume fitting, often, well, really, it's ultimately the costume designer's choice. But
Mhm.
I always, if I get the vibe that it's okay, you're like, ooh, I
Mhm.
like that, or ooh, can I try this on again,
Right,
or
right.
and just kind of, offer what I would feel comfortable in as, as this character. And they were, very receptive to that feedback, which I was grateful for.
Which is nice because I've had costumers on before from different shows,
Yeah,
and I love when they say that their main goal is, of course, the costume is everything,
yeah.
regardless if it's a modern or not, or
Hmm.
back in the day kind of thing. But it's important to make the actor feel comfortable in what they're wearing.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
a lot of times, you know, it's almost like code. Sometimes costumers, in the same thing, how do you feel in this? Like, because they're not quite sure, and I
Yeah,
might go,
yeah,
not good. They're like, yeah, I didn't think so either. Or how do you feel this? Oh, I like this. Yeah, and I think often, we can be on the same page with a look or a feel,
yeah.
particularly when you're trying on, you know, 6 or 7 different suits and combinations of things.
Right.
So yeah, I find them, very collaborative, which is great. Yeah.
And something that stands out in what we've been seeing in the little teasers are all of the cars. Like, oh my gosh, where'd they find all those gorgeous cars? Did you get to drive? Do you get to drive? Drive. Did you get to drive a car?
I didn't, but
Oh,
I'm looking in my phone right now
uh-huh.
because I got to drive. So I'm gonna just deflect because
Mhm.
I saw some of those cars. So we filmed at North Shore Film Studios, and we basically took up most of the lot there. And where the diner was, there were
Yes.
always 8, 10 beautiful cars parked out,
Right, right,
and I
right.
would always sort of find my way and mosey over there, and I would just, the big white walls and the bench
Yes,
seats, and
yes.
these cars were, and I was really hoping, yeah, that at some point, Dick, I'm literally scrolling through my phone, and there's a picture of myself and Danny Mack, who
Aw.
played who's just a wonderful guy, who played the principal of the school. But I did get to drive. I did a show, and I got to drive a 1933 Rolls Royce,
What?
and it was okay.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. That's like from the
it,
old-timey black and whitey kind of movie, like white movies. Oh my gosh, where
it,
was that?
so let's see. There's one more. Oh, and that
Uh,
that's Bar Pala. And it was for oh my gosh.
a movie?
No, a TV series that
Okay.
shot here.
Oh,
Uh I'm so
all right.
sorry, I
It's
can't
gonna
remember
come
right
to you,
now.
but it doesn't matter. It'll come to you, but
Yeah,
I love the car. It'll pop in your head. The
it'll pop in my
cars.
head. So I would see these cards, and I was hoping, Dick Aldridge could do a drive-by one day,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no
yeah.
such luck. But in the back of my head, I was like, well, I did get to drive this.
And did you plan on what car would be yours? Like, this is the car that I would have, as my
Yeah, there
hair.
was like a burgundy Chevy with the huge, bucket seat, and it just looked nice. It looked like it would have been a lot of fun to drive.
I know all of that makes the whole movie more exciting because we have all the gorgeous costumes. Then we have this beautiful music. And I saw that they
Mm,
have originals on there, and then they did that remake of Grease. That's what they were releasing, which sounded
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then all the dance numbers, and then the cars. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. And I'm excited to
yeah.
find out that it's tagged as a comedy also. Like there's a lot of humor in it.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like, even, the movie Grease
Yes,
had,
it did.
you have your subsects, and each
Mhm.
group has their own idiosyncrasies. And I I feel that this has that same kind of
Oh, cool. Same
you can
vibe as
same kind of vibe. Yeah, same kind of vibe.
Mhm.
That probably still exists today, I've been in high school in a
Mhm.
long time, but it certainly existed when I was there. And you're kind of like a jock, or a
Mhm.
nerd, quote unquote, or goth, or whatever it is, and those groups still kind of exist
You
today.
see that so I teach 5th grade, and in
My
where I
daughter's in 5th grade.
oh, if she needs any
Mhm.
help, you can just call me. So I
Yeah.
teach 5th grade, and we are the old like we're the oldest in our building. So they're the seniors of the building. And
Gotcha.
you can even see like not that there's cliques, but different kinds of kids, like you were saying. You could see it forming already because it's their wants, their likes, their personality coming out, and then they just gravitate towards each other for survival because they're learning how to be.
Because they're learning, exactly, and you sort of, birds of a feather in a way. You sort of learn
Yes, yeah,
who you
yeah.
have synchronicity with, and yeah, yeah.
We got a whole bunch of questions from the
Oh,
cast
great.
I mean, not the cast, from the viewers, but I just wanted to ask you a few more things. I
Sure.
think somebody is already asking this question. So when, I've been watching and waiting for this to come out, and then I'm always paying attention to who the cast members are. And I noticed there's like a mini When Calls the Heart reunion, because Matthew James Dowden is he's credited in, and so is Chris McNally. He plays the kind of smarmy yarmy teacher, right? He's got a
Yeah.
cringy part. So did your path
Yeah.
with either of those guys?
I saw Mr. McNally one day like this. Hey, hey, hey. We said a quick hello. And
Yeah.
that, unfortunately, that we had no scenes together. And as far as I know, only that one day of kind of crossover. So I said a quick hello to him. He's so handsome.
He is a
So
handsome man.
handsome man.
And he
Uh,
shaved everything. So he looks so
yeah, he looked so much, and I had to do kind of like I was like, a little
crisp.
double take. He looked, yeah, just yeah, younger.
Yeah.
But yes, his character is, well, yeah,
We know. We've been reading
yes,
on everything. And
yeah.
what about Matthew? Did you see Matthew at all or no? No. Yeah, he's on, I think, for like one episode. It's funny because when I put it up on Instagram, he was one of the people that commented. He had he made a little emoji guy and was like, woohoo,
Oh,
that
great.
went on,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
is
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so do you think is this, or maybe you can't, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I don't know if you're allowed to answer this or not. Do you think this is like a one and done, like one time thing, or are they looking to do more? Or you're not sure?
Oh my gosh, that question is so far above my pay grade. I mean,
I didn't know if you heard. Okay.
no, I have not heard anything.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, my gosh, I sure hope so.
Oh, okay,
Because
good, good.
A, I would love to come back, and
Right.
B, there was so much. I mean, I don't know. The number of projects that have been on this one, um, had a great set, had a great energy, had a great vibe. It was a
Mhm.
huge set, like huge cast,
Wow.
and a lot of in a high school, so there's lots of background performers, there's a lot of moving parts,
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of money, and for
Okay.
that much
You would hope there'd be a second
yeah,
season.
for that much care, and I don't want to just say money because it doesn't come down to that, but
No, I
just
know it.
the feeling of the show. I really do hope it comes back, and
Yeah.
that's why
Sometimes
I
things are
could tune
just
in.
like mini series, like a mini series and it was done. I didn't know if
Yeah.
it was plotted out, if there could be, if the story was done or if it could be another season. I find it exciting because it would be like nothing else that's out there right now. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I totally hear you. Yeah, yeah. I would really, really hope that it comes back, and
Cool. I love that.
I would hope that they want Dick Aldridge to
Mhm.
return for his
Right?
shenanigans, and then I can hang out with Jason again, who, like, yes, in the show he's like, my kid, but the guy's amazing. He can sing, he can dance, he's a great
Did
actor, great guy, great guy.
did you, like, spend time together getting to know each other prior to, like, your scenes or
No, the first time I saw him,
Oh.
I was eating lunch, and he sat down beside me, and he goes, "Hey, Dad." And I went, "Hey,
That's
son."
cute.
And we, of course, then it's just then you can have those, like, actor talks, like, "So what do
Yes,
you
yes.
think? And how
Yeah,
about this? And when you were a kid?" And you just have all those chats. And he was, really, yeah, just a I feel old when I do this, but a fine young man. He was just a
he's a
great,
fine young man.
fine young man, and very, very, very talented. Yeah, great guy, great guy.
Well, listen, you back in the day, they had children very young, so you were a young dad, okay? That's it. That's all there is to it. Look,
Exactly.
it's Christina said, "Looks like a fun show to be on. Did you enjoy, being a part of it?" Which we know you did, but what is,
Yeah.
like, one of your favorite parts of this?
That's a really good question. On one end, there were a couple, like on one end, you have very sort of intimate, father son scenes
Oh, good.
where it's just like everything is just the
Mm-hmm.
two of us. We're just talking. And then you have these big scenes at like, the prom where or a carnival or a high school, and there's just so much happening. And then you're sort of like in this scene with all this energy around. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. It was a big show to be a part of, and to be a part of it. I guess yeah, just I enjoyed the smallness of it, but I really also enjoyed the grandness of it.
So I love when there's that kind of writing, because sometimes, like, maybe in an action movie, I won't say the name, but there's one years ago I watched it and I constantly felt like I didn't get a break to breathe because it was constantly, 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 constantly.
Yeah,
So this looks like you're saying it's like big numbers, big dancing, and then there's that small little scene that will touch our heart kind of thing.
yes, that is
Mm,
my
but
sense. That is my sense that
I
it's,
love that.
it
Right, right,
really
right.
rides that. And my hope is that you really, get to know and care for these characters, because if you don't care for the character, what happens then? You lose interest. But
Yeah.
hopefully that allows that to happen, to be allowed into that character's life.
I mean, I think I will, because like I said, Annabelle, even the team that she surrounds herself with, they all are like little master, well, not little, they're big masterminds. So I think we're gonna get this. It's gonna be we're very excited. We've been waiting for this. I even called Paramount Plus and said, "Hello, can you tell me when this is
What's
airing?"
Yeah.
Sitting on it forever. And then they put their schedule out and it wasn't there. And then finally, boom, we're like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
here, we can plug it. So the first
Great.
episode
Yeah. Yeah.
premieres on Thursday. It's a Thursday night and it's April the 6th. So that's the first episode. And I was wondering, because it's more than one way. I was wondering if it's going to be every Thursday for 10 episodes, or if we're going to be able to binge watch. I feel like we can't binge watch.
I like
We
I
don't even
think
know.
well, I have no idea. Like, I just think Paramount is too smart to go, like, because then you just get your 30-day trial,
Yes, you
watch
are
what you want
right.
to watch,
You're done,
and then
right?
you're gone. So this way, hopefully if you watch,
Mhm.
2 episodes in those 30 days, or three, whatever, you like it so much that
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you'll renew, or you'll be locked in for your, year
I'm an
membership or whatever.
And I think that too. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an every Thursday series. We're not going to be
Yeah.
able to binge watch like you can on Netflix. And I'm okay with
Yeah.
that, because I like having something to look forward to. I'm not a
Yes.
binge watcher, so I'm okay by that.
Yeah. 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 Good.
Not
Good. Good.
everybody's
Yeah.
going to agree with that, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Chris-
Yeah.
Christine has a question. She said, are any of the original characters mentioned as younger ages to introduce themselves later for the movie Grease? Like, is there any mention of Well, there wouldn't, because Sandy was the cousin who came in. But is there any
Yeah.
mention, like, even though we're not saying the real actors are coming back, was there any
Yeah.
mention of them?
I honestly, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
It could
No.
be, but you're not aware of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Jan says, thinking about When Calls the Heart and the fact that you, Todd, had to fake play the piano. We love that. Was there anything in this show that you had to make believe that you knew how to do, but well, you didn't really know how to?
Um. Oh my gosh. I just have to, I have to, shout out to the sound and editing department at When Calls the Heart, because I watched that and I went, it looks like I'm playing the piano.
I
Like,
know,
I
it's
can't
so great.
believe it,
Yeah,
because there was the one take where they actually let me press the keys.
I
And
know.
so
I know.
it would sounded ridiculous. I would say nothing. Thank you, Janice, for the question. Nothing as specific
Okay.
as like playing the piano. But I think that Dick's narrow view and focus of the world
Uh-huh.
um, is something that you don't want to judge your character because he's a man of his time, but man,
Mhm.
he was definitely on the home team, the side of the home team, and that's the only team, and
Oh,
we just know that doesn't
yeah.
that's not
No.
how we get along.
Yeah.
So to just sort of run through the hard drive, like how does someone get to this and make
Mhm.
these decisions or these judgments. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was a challenge for you. So were you given a backstory to him, or did you just sort of create it on your own because you're a good actor and you do that kind of stuff?
I interestingly, very, very, very interestingly, one of the big audition scenes, there was when I first auditioned, you get your sides, and there was
Mhm.
this great monologue on the back, and it talked about Dick's uh, Dick's experience at high school, and he was trying to
Oh.
relay some information to Buddy about, it's not always easy, and you got to fight, and you got to be.
Mhm.
And so all this monologue, I was like, oh my gosh, like sitting on the bench as a football player, and if they just gave me a chance to get in the game, and I was like, that is so, because then when we actually shot it, it was completely rewritten, but I gleaned so much from
Right, right,
that.
right. That you
Um,
do. Okay.
that you do, but I think backstories, particularly when you're with a family, are really, really important to just have sort of ticking away. So I did create, a backstory about
Mhm.
how Dick got to him, and which was really influenced by this original scene,
Mhm.
monologue that was written, that eventually was
Right.
cut. But I thought, wow,
Mhm.
what great clues to who this guy is.
That was good. There was like some insight. I know that so years ago, well not that long ago, I had a community theater. I was just
Oh yeah,
one a group of us. And
yeah,
it was more for the younger children and teenagers, young adults. And it amazed me, those that were so into acting, how they would make a backstory in their mind and then share and talk. I remember driving in the car with my godson and he was telling me all this stuff. And I was like, where's that coming from? I don't
yeah,
what's that? He goes,
yeah,
that's what I have in my mind. So I know how to get on the stage. I act the way I'm like, that's amazing. Like, hey, high five. I love that. That was funny. And that was like, 10 years ago. So that's why I
yeah,
always ask that
yeah,
question, because actors'
yeah.
minds are creative and amazing. And I'm always curious to see what they put in it, to feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the more you can, um I don't know, there's like the analogy of, like, a stew. The more sort of you can put into it, the more
Mhm.
flavors, spices, the more you can, um and just something that you don't think will really glean much information. Go, oh, that's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Comes
interesting.
out.
I
It
didn't
comes
think
out,
about
and
that.
we feel it. That makes I feel like actors who have that mindset, and that is their I don't know, their method, I guess. That when as for me as a viewer, I like you more. You're more real and authentic to me. So I find that interesting. And a
Yeah,
lot of times it could be a character that's not the main character. It's the character that knows they're on for all of 5 seconds, and those 5 seconds have to mean something, and they do. They really do.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And huge, we've all, been there, and you
Mhm.
don't want to make, a meal out of it, but you also want to, honor
Sure,
what it
you got
is,
your
and
5 seconds.
you got your 5 seconds. Yeah. So, and just the way you handle yourself on set, and
Mhm.
you never know, like some producer would be like, oh, I have
Mhm.
something in mind, and do you want to
Yeah, for
talk, or
you.
you just
Yeah,
never
yeah.
know.
Martha has a good question that kind of relates to something else. You mentioned the studio, and someone else was asking, where exactly is that? So did you do your auditions in Canada or
Oh,
the States, and where is that studio?
well, everything. So kind of a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything now is self-tapes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I literally have converted I live in a condo. Tough
Mm-hmm.
to shoot a self-tape in a condo.
Mm-hmm.
So I've converted my sister's couch house in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver.
Yes,
Um,
you told us that before. Her go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So her coach house I've converted into. She has two kids that are now
Grown.
grown up. Like I used to play Lego with my nephews and that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah.
it's like now I've converted it into a studio. So I shoot all my tapes in a studio, and you literally upload your tape, you send it to your agent, and your agent, and someday, most of the time, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
where does it go? How does it go? Why does it go? Does anybody watch it? I don't know. It could literally go out into the ether, but every now and again, it's like, oh, you've got a callback for this, or
Good.
oh, some productions book directly from tapes, but mostly you get a Zoom callback.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to everything being self-tape, in Vancouver, there are uh, 10 or 10 or 12 casting directors in the city, and each casting director has their office. And so, and in fact, there's an office from my condo window, Clark and Page. I can see I've done hundreds of auditions in that building right there, literally. And
Cool. Close
you
by.
walk. Sorry.
I said, cool, close by.
Yeah, super close by. You walk in, you do the audition, and then they, upload it and send it off to whomever they send it off to. I would imagine, probably 8 times out of 10, it's to someone in LA. If it's a Canadian production, it'd be sent to a production office in Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto. Um, and even for callback auditions, what will happen a lot of times is um, if you're most of the stuff that I would audition would be shot here anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm doing a callback, they would a producer or director from LA would come to the casting office in
Oh,
Vancouver
okay.
and sit in on
The
a
audition.
callback, just cheaper than flying everyone down to
Right,
audition in
right, right.
LA.
Sure,
They
sure.
come
That
up, and they would probably be doing a location scout and talking with designers and that kind of thing. So um
and
yeah.
where is the studio, North Shore? Is that's in near
um
you?
where we shot Grease
Yeah.
was North Vancouver, so
Right.
about a 40-minute drive,
It's like a
depending
little
on traffic.
Hollywood almost. Like, I mean, there's a
it,
lot going on there.
there's a
Film in
lot. Yeah, there
Mhm.
are, I think, about 10 sound stages, like
Yeah,
massive, like airport
yeah.
hangars, and there could be 10, 15 productions going on there. And
Cool.
Greece took up, three, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of the lots, but we
Wow.
shot on uh,
It's a
on
big
location
set.
at an abandoned high school, which was very close to North Shore
I
Studios.
wanted to know that if you were in a real high school. I was curious about that.
We were, yes, at a real high school that
Cool.
was we no longer, students were
Right.
no longer attending the high school,
Yes,
but it was
yes.
in a high school that we were able to shoot at. Yeah, which was
Cool.
great.
They were also wondering if the drive-in, if it was a real drive-in, or was that part of the set?
That would have been dressed on one of the sound stages. That is it. One of the, I don't even know if I can
Mhm.
say the name of it, but the name of the
Okay.
diner,
Right.
because that's where a lot of the cars were um, parked out in front of.
Mhm.
So it was on the lot, as it were, or in the North Shore Studios.
Cool. There's some funny, like, behind the scenes things people are leading up to, but, um, This is just what's this? This is I think there was a compliment for me, so I had to put this on. It's just so nice to see you again, Todd. Roxanne is awesome.
Thank you.
So come back anytime she asks.
When Roxanne says jump, okay, I say how high.
All right. Okay. Now, I think we talked about this before, Todd. Jan is noticing that you have a guitar behind
Oh,
you and
yes.
yours. And like, do you play? And I think
I
go ahead.
do play guitar. And so if they ever asked me, on if they ever asked me, I could belt out a few little, a few chords on the guitar.
Yeah.
But
All
that's
right.
one of my that's my huge I play as much guitar, too much to my wife's chagrin. I play as much guitar as I can. I love it. I
Cool.
really, really love it. Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
then
great.
you could that could be your musical part in Greece for season 2.
Exactly. I could play the
Okay.
guitar. I could play the guitar for sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Arlene is saying any slip ups for the time period that you know of, like someone getting caught using their smartphone
Oh yeah.
or modern teen language.
Um, not not that I'm aware of, although, there were a lot of, group scenes, and, as people do, they're just constantly checking, and, so we have, the background wrangler and the first AD, um, okay, getting ready to roll, or,
Yeah, yeah,
cameras
yeah.
up, and it's like, put your stuff away. In terms of the language, I really noticed, that they were very, sometimes you can if something doesn't quite sit right, you
Right,
can
right, right.
massage it a little bit as your
Right,
character,
right,
but they
right.
were like, they wanted it, and fair
Lingo. The
enough,
lingo
they
is really
wanted
fun.
it word for word for
Okay.
word,
Yeah.
and so I appreciated that, because they obviously took a lot of time in writing it, and it wasn't like a vernacular, but it was just you could tell that it was from that time period, and they wanted
Right.
it said. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I know it sounds silly, like I was telling the children, we were learning something in school, and I was like, in the 1700s, they didn't talk like we do now. If we listened to a conversation, even though it's supposed to be English, we'd be like, what
Huh?
was just said? Right?
Yeah.
And I said, but you can even have listen to a true conversation from the 50s and the 60s, and some of the stuff be like, what did they just say? So that's cool. Well, again, that's good writing, and Annabelle's like a pro, so I wouldn't expect there to be anything different. um
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gloria here,
Yeah.
she says, I really enjoy listening
Yeah.
to Todd. Will
Thank
we see
you.
him on When Calls the Heart? I don't know if you can answer that. But the other thing that she's asking, do you have any other projects that we might be on the lookout for? Do you have anything else that we might want to be watching that you're
I have so thank you, Gloria. I As far as I know, When Calls the Heart, they're done with me. They've
Oh,
Mr. Landis. But I did see Mr. Viv Leacock recently, and he
he's a
he
cutie. I
said,
love him.
oh my gosh, greatest guy. And he said,
I love
maybe Landis comes back, and we'll have
maybe.
another
Yeah.
piano lesson. I'm like,
Season 11. They got a season
season
11.
11.
Not only is 10 coming in July, but then there's a season 11.
I know.
Yeah.
So, if Viv can work his magic and get Mr. Landis back for a piano lesson, I'm in. Any other projects coming up? I wonder what I had a couple of smaller parts, again, as dads, on a couple of
Ads.
a Lifetime movie and a Hallmark movie. One is called Spin Cycle, which will be
Okay.
coming out on the Hallmark channel,
Cool.
and but lots of yeah, it's funny because I like, just last week I sent out about 10 auditions, and then you sort of go like,
Hmm.
and a couple you really you send the audition, you get to know the character, and you're like, oh, that'd be fun. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
nothing yet, Gloria, but a
Spin Cycle.
spin cycle. Spin
Hallmark.
cycle. It's a
All
Hallmark
right.
movie. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to be looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. That's wonderful. All right.
Great. Yeah.
Oh, this has been so nice. So we'll be looking out. Well, we're not going to be looking at. We're going to be. We know you're in several of the scenes. I mean, several of the episodes, but
Yeah.
it starts April the 6th, which is a Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
April the 6th, Paramount Plus. We'll be watching, and we'll be looking.
Amazing.
And I wonder
Thank you
if
so much.
wonder if they're going to do any tweeting. We'll have to come up with a hashtag, the rise of the pink ladies, and do some tweeting.
Yeah. The more energy around it, the better chance that it'll get picked up for another season. So fingers crossed.
All right. That's wonderful. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and spending the evening with us. We're so excited to be chatting with you, Todd. It was always nice. It's always nice. You're going to have to come back again and again.
Anytime. I appreciate you asking me. Thanks so much.
All right. We're going to say goodnight, and we'll say goodnight in the studio, but we'll say goodnight to everyone. Good night, everyone. Have a good one.